Welcome everyone to the third EPH Academy session this year. We are thrilled to have you with us today. I'm David Küpper, Managing Director of Expert Powerhouse. At Expert Powerhouse, we help teams all over the world with on-demand consultants, as we are serving hundreds of leading companies in consulting and industry with freelance talent. We founded the EPH Academy to help our consultants and freelancers in the network to boost their skills and being able to deliver the highest project quality to our clients. In this session, we will explore how leading companies master agility and go beyond basic digitalization. It's my great pleasure to introduce our guest, Dr. Sevan Hambarsoomian, founder of the Agile Business Institute and a leader in agile methodologies with over a decade of experience. Sevan has been instrumental in shaping agile practices for major companies, and we are excited to hear from him today. Thank you for joining us. Please engage as much as possible by using the chat function throughout the training session. Sevan will always be happy to react immediately. Sevan, I'll hand it over to you to kick off the session.
Thank you very much, David. It's always a pleasure to be with you guys. And it's actually my second time with you guys. The first time was an interview with Christian. And now it's in the Academy, so Agile Expert Powerhouse Academy. So I'm happy to present today my topic. And Chloe, I don't know if I do need to do something. Yeah, there it is, the presentation. So I'm happy to talk to you guys today about beyond digitalization. And I'm also going to talk with you about the agile secret of tech giants such as Amazon, Apple, and Google. Having said that, a short introduction. So Dr. Sevan Hambarsoomian, please call me Sevan. Feel free to say you or du in German. Quickly on my background. So I started education at the University of Wuppertal and also did my PhD in Wuppertal, was also in San Diego at the State University. After PhD, I joined KPMG and Accenture as management consultant. It was a pleasure and fun to learn really the consultant skills during that time. Since 2019, where our first daughter was born, I decided or talked with my wife and said, if I want to become an independent consultant, now it's the time. And that was a decision where I started as an independent management consultant. And since then, I have my own company. Agile Business School is one of the brands. And I do, since a decade, digital transformation project. So project experience quickly, telecommunication, which is super interesting because telecommunication is partly a legacy company with legacy systems and processes, but also partly a tech company because mobility, internet, and everything what is inside telecommunication is super important for nowadays lifestyle, and also products. I also was in automotive. Lovely BMW was a great project, but I have also Deutsche Bahn and Deutsche Bank experience, so financial services, automotive, telco, if you take it into a nutshell. All right, so let's kick off the session and let's kick off the topic. I will go through the presentation, but I want to have it interactive as possible. So if you guys have questions, comments, feel free to post them there. If I'm too much into my content, Chloe will give me a friendly reminder to answer questions and discuss with you different topics. So I would like to start the presentation with a quote of Steve Jobs. And Steve Jobs once said that great things in business are never done by one person. they are done by a team of people. And this is a very inspiring quote, because if you have high performing, motivated, and inspiring people in a team who have a clear direction as a team, clear direction as single individuals, and they move forward in a project, they can really create wonderful things. They can create wonderful products, wonderful software, also wonderful processes. But there's also a downside. So Steve Jobs himself was very talented and was working with a lot of talented and motivated, inspiring people. But the downside and the reality of teams is, if you're working with teams that are not inspired, that are not motivated, and have a lack of understanding where to move together, you have a mess. Yeah. And this is something that you need to understand. And highly performing companies, and this secret of agile or the agile secrets of high performing tech companies, is that they have really great people. They have great people on board who are motivated, but they also create environments where people understand where to move as individuals, but also where to move as a team. So taking together, there is this inspiring quote from Steve Jobs, but there is also a downside to that. Coming to my main question in this presentation, and my main question in this presentation is every company a tech company? So you might say, yes, Sevan, that's right. If you have Apple and if you have an Amazon, Google, these are tech companies, clearly, and they also need to move forward as tech companies. But is every company a tech company? And should we look from the agile perspective on these companies? And there is no clear yes or no. Yeah, there is a gray zone in that question, and I cannot answer this question with a clear yes and not a clear no. We Germans love to say a jein. So there's a gray zone. So I have picked out really two examples where I say we are looking on these two companies, which are no tech companies by nature, but you see that digital transformation is for them important. First company that we have here as in the case study is Rewe. So if you know Rewe, if you live in Germany and you know Rewe, Rewe is a retail chain, and a retail chain where you can get mostly your daily needs, foods and vegetable fruits, and you can do your grocery shopping. That's how Rewe started. Rewe started in 1927 with grocery, a wide range, different places in Germany. But if Rewe moves forward, and Rewe does, and adapts to the market, Rewe sees, okay, the customer behavior and the customer needs are changing. Things are changing in terms of people want to have more convenient offers. For instance, if you go to a Rewe store during lunchtime, there are a lot of convenient products that are served and services. Especially when David and I used to go for lunch in the Rewe on the Friesenplatz, there were a lot of things like sushi, sandwiches, and bowls. And Rewe saw that the behavior of people are changing. So in urban areas, people want to have as many as convenient offers as possible. If you move out from the urban areas, things are changing, but the convenient offer is still there. And then Rewe said, all right, I see that my customers' behavior is also changing, and my customer wish to have also a delivery service. So what Rewe did is to create a delivery service where you say, look, on a Friday, I have kids, I have friends over, I want to prepare dinner, but I don't want to go shopping. I order something at the beginning of the week, and I ask Rewe to deliver me on a Friday afternoon. And then I have everything there, can prepare everything, and I do not need to really go out and do my grocery shopping. So you see that Is every company a tech company? No, but tech and digital transformation is something that also a retail chain is or needs to do. The second thing that I pick here is BMW, for instance. I'm a big fan of BMWs, and if you go back 10, 15, 20 years in the past, cars were a factor of mobility. So if you had back then a car, you were able to drive everywhere, you had the flexibility and the mobility. Things have changed. If you live in an urban area, in Germany, in Cologne, or if you live in United States, in San Francisco, New York, wherever, you see mobility nowadays is not that a big challenge. So you have Uber, you can take a ride with Uber, you can use the scooters where they are everywhere, you can rent a car and use the rent-a-car service. And right now you have a lot of bus and public transportation available in urban areas. So 10, 15 years in the past, transportation was a different thing than it is today. Today, the transportation or mobility is much bigger than before. And then Tesla comes into the game, and Tesla starts this revolution where Tesla says, I have an edge-breaking technology, I'm building electric vehicles, and these electric vehicles are driving with electricity, so you don't need fuel cars anymore. And customers also change their behavior, because customers do not say, I don't care if my car is driving by a sustainable resource or by fuel, I want to drive and be mobile. No, customers say, I want to have mobility and I want to be sustainable and do something for our environment. And then an old company that is in a legacy company with legacy products, legacy processes, and legacy IT says, we might need to do something to really support the customers or the needs that the customer have today. And finally, we say just copying the technology that Tesla provides is not the solution that BMW should provide, because there are different challenges. If you live in California, for instance, you have another environment to supercharge your electric car. But if you live in an urban area in Europe, let's say in Barcelona or in Cologne or in Berlin, the environment for charging is not that big and not that big as it is in California, for instance. And then BMW needs to think about, okay, how can we deliver or build products that really fits into the requirements that our customer have. So if I'm looking on a customer in an urban city in Germany, what are their requirements? Maybe a hybrid engine is meaningful, where you have a fuel engine and you have an electric engine. Where you say, I want to drive the electric engine. If I'm able to charge, fine. If I'm somewhere on a freeway and I'm not able to charge, then I can use the old fuel resources that are there. So you see again also for BMW, which is a legacy company with legacy products, they move forward and say, hey, technology is also something that is important for our customers that we have right now. So taking this together, you see that we have legacy products, we have legacy companies, processes, and IT, and we see that such companies also undergo a digital transformation. So everything what was in the past, you cannot adapt and say, okay, I'm really moving forward with the same thing. So you need somehow to adjust your business model. And then there are these new requirements, there are these new needs and pain points of the customers that you should address as a legacy company. So taking everything together, a transformation of a company. So an customer excellent company, I call it, is the new normal. So you need somehow to change your products, IT solutions, and processes to really engage in the new normal. Let's have a look on share price, market value. So when I was a student at the University of Wuppertal, I attended finance classes where I have also my major. I always learned that shareholder value is the main thing that a CFO and a company CEO should focus on. From the perspective today, partly. So you have customers and you have to focus on the customers. But if you do so, customers will buy your product and support your company, and therefore the shareholder value should increase, among other factors. But if you look on the market value, for instance, of the most valuable companies on the left side, you see leaders there. So you see an Apple, you see Nvidia, you see Microsoft, Alphabet, which is Google, and Amazon. And you see that on the left-hand side, you mostly have tech companies. On the right side, you see the most valuable German companies. SAP is for sure a technology company. Siemens is something like a hybrid thing, which comes from a legacy world and really creates nowadays innovation. But if you look, for instance, on automotive and financial services, you're wondering, okay, what are these companies doing to really engage and transform into the new normal? And on the left-hand side, you see the leaders. And on the right side, I call them laggers. Why laggers? So at the beginning, we were talking about or asking ourselves, is every company a technology company? So is every company a tech company? And we said there's no clear and yes or no. There's a gray zone. But if we look on this chart here and we look on the most valuable companies, we also need to say that these valuable companies or tech companies have changed our behavior, have changed how we look on products, what our expectations are on products. And these expectations of customers are also something that they transform to other products. I give you a simple example. If you use Apple and you have Siri and you can give commands to Siri, then you somehow sit in a car and are wondering, oh, that would be actually very cool if I can do everything what I can do with my cell phone. Also in a car, because in the car I'm driving, I have both hands on the both hands that are busy. So that would be great if I can use my voice to say, turn on the radio, turn off the radio, air conditioning, whatever. And what I'm trying to say with that chart is we have these tech companies that really are defining the expectation and the behavior of a customer that the customer is requesting also from other products. Let me check if I can see. Hooray, SDSU, yeah, great. So no questions so far. So I move forward. Having said that, we have figured out, in summary, great teams are achieving great goals. Great teams are creating great products, processes, and also software. And we've figured out, there are tech companies that are creating super innovations. But what about other companies that are legacy companies and not tech companies? And we figured out, yes, also a legacy company that is there, where you can order right now products or get services. The customer is still expecting to be as good as one of the tech products that he uses from Apple, that he uses from Amazon or from Google. Coming to the secrets or agile secrets of tech companies. So I'm going to talk with you about three secret or agile secrets. And the first one I would like to look on are OKRs. And right now I will discuss OKRs and I will explain it to you. And most of you have heard about OKR. So OKRs help teams, organization to really focus on objectives and outcomes. Important part of OKRs is that you use a handful of OKRs for the entire organization. And if you have the handful of objectives, let's say 3 to 5, then you need to make sure that you have 3 to 5 KRs, key results, that you focus on. And then it's easy. Every month or quarter, you look on the objectives, the key results, and then you say, did we achieve them or haven't we achieved them, or have we partly achieved them? Sounds super easy, and I have also noted down a rule of thumb. I love football. For the American soccer, 3-5-1 or 3-5-3. So it means 3 objectives, 5 key results, and every month looking over it and having an assessment: have we achieved them or not? Or you can do it with 3-5-3 and looking every 3 months on that, which means every quarter. Having said that, it sounds super simple, and you guys might say, yeah, Sevan, great, have about that, but why is that a secret? Why is that something that is super important? I give you, and I agree with you, OKRs are not rocket science. Yeah, they are not super complicated, but it's difficult to achieve them. And I give you now the reality. On the left side you see how to, and on the right side you see what the reality is. The reality is companies have no OKRs or too many. There are projects where you talk about no OKRs, and there are projects where you talk about OKRs or even KPIs, and then someone comes out with an Excel sheet where you can see 99 KPIs or OKRs. That doesn't help. That doesn't help because people get overwhelmed. If you give people too many things to achieve, they will achieve nothing. I mean, if you start doing too many things, you will land nowhere. I know there is this myth of being always busy and always being in calls, always being in meetings, but this is not that productive, because you want to focus on the important things in life and then achieve them. And far worse is if you're talking about OKRs, then you have different departments with different OKRs, which are contradicting. The one says, I need to launch more products. And the other one says, I want to be more operational excellent. So the one hand side, you want to achieve operational excellence. The other hand side, you need to achieve something else. And if you would have infinite resources, then that would be fine, because you can just use the infinite resources that you have, put it all there, and then you achieve everything. But this is not reality. Every one of us know too many goals, too many objectives lead to nowhere. And therefore, focusing is something that you do not see in reality mostly. Then transparency is something that is missing. In every project where I was, there was this saying, oh, communication is missing. And communication actually means in that context that transparency is missing. There is a call where somebody says something, let's say the CEO, and then it goes to the project lead, and then it goes to other people in the project, but there is no call where everyone is there, everyone is attending, and no place where you say, look, everyone that is on the project can see the OKR because it's transparent. It doesn't need to be for everyone, maybe, and especially not for people outside of the organization. It can be, but it doesn't need to be. And here you need to really make sure that it's transparent. That is not this, I tell someone something and then the other people tells this next one and next one, because then the story will somehow change. You need to have the person who is in charge of the OKR for the entire organization, 3 to 5, communicate them, make sure that they're transparent, and then everyone has a common understanding. And this common understanding helps this great teams to really achieve a common goal. And then the lack of assessment is missing because it's difficult. It's difficult to sit in a round with people and tell them, hey, we had OKRs, you haven't achieved them, why? And we never learned that. So either it's someone that really gives you a bad feedback, or someone that doesn't talk about that. But the reality should be, or the new normal should be, to sit down with the person and say, okay, this was the OKR. Why haven't we hit anything? Does the OKR make sense, or is it meaningless to follow the OKR? Is it too difficult? Do you have too many other obligations? So to really figure out why the people are not there where they should be in terms of reaching the OKRs. And taking this OKR story out, Intel was one of the companies that used OKR to really create great processors. But also Google. Google is the known company that uses OKR. So for instance, Google used an OKR where every employee invested 20% of work time into personal interest. And one of the people in Google really figured out that email communication software is so complex, and this leisure time he invested to develop Gmail. And Gmail is one of the big successes of Google. Okay, coming to the next one. I really love that. Reducing complexity. The more people on board you have in a project, the more complex things become, because you have someone from product that says, I want to have the following. You have someone from operations that says, I want to have the following. Then you have people from legal, then you have people from finance, from billing, etc. And things get super complex, because then you're talking about a solution that really is the solution at the end of the project. So you're talking about a entire scope of the entire transformation scope. How to use it? Really focus on small things. Really select requirements. Say, okay, what is important? Where should we start? Write them down. Note them. Make them small. Make small bits and pieces out of it so that you can achieve them. Because the more you achieve things in a smaller period, the more motivated you get, because you create momentum. Things start to spin. Jeff Bezos always talks about momentum and the flywheel. The more you achieve smaller goals, the better you get in a team, because you understand, okay, how to achieve that? Great. Let's do it for the next one. Maybe we can improve here. And then you really become more and more efficient, because you know how to achieve smaller goals. I see that there is a comment, and I will read through the comment in a second. And one trap that most legacy companies fall into is they have legacy processes, they have legacy products and IT solutions, and they are perfectly working. They're not the newest, and they are not what the market is expecting, but they work. And they have this expectation that they have this silver bullet in a transformation project. They shoot it and everything is solved. And this silver bullet trap you should avoid. So you should really avoid to say, I do one shot, it kills every problem that I have, and then I have achieved my transformation and can move forward. The reality is that there are a lot of requirements. The scope is too big. The scope is unstructured in transformation projects. And the expectation of the scope is, yeah, we go there, in 1 year we achieve this, in a second this, and then the transformation project is over. This is not the case, and this I have never seen in my entire career. And if that would be so, Accenture's, Boston Consulting Group's, McKinsey's out there wouldn't be that successful and that big. No, the full training will be available only. Okay, that was only a comment. So, Chloe, you give me a sign if there is a question. Please ignore the question. Okay. And then last but not least, let's look on the third secret. So starting with OKR, saying, okay, we should focus on the most important things, most important objectives, most important key results, 3 to 5, and then really make sure that we achieve them in a month or in a quarter, and really make sure that this is something that the teams need to stick to. Second thing was, make it break down complexity, really make sure that you create momentum. Jeff Bezos loves that, and Amazon is killer in that. So Amazon really starts everything on a small scale, really make sure that it's not complex, it's an MVP, it's really an MVP, and they really go from feature to feature and really create then big things like AWS. And the third thing is, what I also love is customer centricity. And if you talk about requirements and setting priorities, you say, yes, Sevan, that's super straightforward. This is even something that you do not need to learn at Accenture or at Boston Consulting Group or McKinsey. That's something that you learn in university. Set priorities and then work priorities down. Yes, it's true, but how to set the priorities? What is the priority that is the most valuable? And here you need to think about your customers. So think about the customer, think about the customer journey and say, okay, what is the customer journey? And how should I become a customer-centric company or a customer-centric product? And super easy, choose your USP. And USP says unique selling proposition. It's not the 10 unique selling proposition, it's just one. Really have a focus on that, and then also focus on the customer needs and how a IT solution can solve customer problems or achieve what a customer wants. And then look on the customer journey. Sometimes in marketing there are too many things to focus on a customer journey, but go there and say, okay, if I am the customer and I sit in a car, what would I expect? When I live there, what is the thing that is best for the customer? Or if I order something, what would I expect as a single, as a family father, a family mother, children, etc.? So go really there, think about the customer journey, and really to figure out, okay, what can I really create to really support my customers? And create fans of your customers, and then really go there and say, what are the must-haves that we need? What are the nice-to-haves? And then what is the could-haves and what are the won't-haves? I have never seen a company that says these are the won't-haves. We don't know that. We don't need that. There are some people in companies, they really can distinguish that, things like that, but often you say we need everything. We need everything until tomorrow, and this doesn't work out. And then the reality is, again, you focus too much on a product because you say, I want to have a product. Yeah, good, but what is the product good for? What is the product good for a customer? What does it help in the customer journey? So do you solve a pain of the customer? Do you make him more satisfied, more happy, whatever? And then also focus the customer needs and then put it into an IT solution, because mostly IT people think about how can I create a cool IT solution without going back and saying, okay, the business requirement is that we do this and that for the customer or for the users, and that's how a solution should look like. Often IT solutions are described as IT solutions, but they are not a self-purpose. Yeah. And one company that does it brilliant is Apple. And if you look on Apple, you see that Apple started with 2 computers, 1 laptop, 1 stationary computer, and one phone. Now Apple has more phones than before, a regular one, a bigger one, and then also a cheaper version for corporations, for instance. But if you're an Apple user, you say, everything is working super easy, super gently. And then people come that have other phones like Samsung or the Google phone and say, yeah, but my phone has the following feature, the following pixel on the camera. And you think, so what? My phone works. I know what to do. It helps me to get around with the things I need to do. I don't need the XYZ camera and I don't need the XYZ feature. And sometimes Apple really goes there and says, I'm restricting the functionalities that customer or Apple users can use. This is sometimes frustrating for tech geeks because they say, I want to have also the following software on my mobile phone. But for the majority of customers, they say, it's simple, it works, I know what to do, and I'm not overwhelmed with software and with everything where I need to browse through to figure out what I need to do. So one of my first mobile phones was a BlackBerry. I don't know if someone is as old as I am. So I had a BlackBerry, and the BlackBerry software was so complicated. If you wanted to change the ringtone or turn off the vibration, turn on something, you needed to search for minutes, for hours. No, hours is too much, but for minutes to really figure out, there it was. Apple really makes things so easy. On the site, you can click on, off the tone, and it makes things super easy. Okay, let's see if there are some comments or questions. I really like the approach to focus on the MVP in sense of setting priorities. What is your opinion on that? And my opinion is absolutely go for it. If you are looking on MVPs, that's brilliant. Figure out what the MVP should be to really say, I have achieved the MVP in terms of what is the MVP solving for the customer? Is there a feature that the customer needs and the customer says afterwards, wow, this is something that really makes it easy for me, or it's great? Or is the MVP too big and too complicated and the customer says, oh, I don't know what to do with it? So really focus on an MVP, but happy to align here if you want to drop me a message on LinkedIn. Okay. Yeah. Coming to a giant who is not a tech giant, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe is certainly not a tech giant, but Goethe is one of the big ones in German literature, at least. And Goethe said something. He said a lot of smart things. But one thing about knowledge and about learning, he said on learning that knowledge is not enough. You have to practice. And this is super important because we expect from people really to know things and then it works. And it's not that easy. So you know that you have to get knowledge, and then you have to practice the knowledge so that it is something valuable that you do. This is also the reality when it comes to digital transformation projects. So I see often people that are going to Scrum trainings or Scrum Scale Agile framework trainings, and people expect to be there for 2 days. They sit down there 8 hours, really get the input, do the certification, go out, and then the expectation is that people know afterwards what to do. And this is not true, because you have to look on the knowledge. The knowledge has somehow to flip into your mind, at least one flip. In best case, it makes 3, 4, 5, 7 flips. And then you have also the option to really make sure that you think about that and you apply it. And as soon as you apply, you say, oh, wait a minute, there's something that I don't understand, something that doesn't make sense. And then go back and say, okay, how was that? And then you figure out, okay, that was a piece of puzzle that was missing. The best thing is you go out and teach people, but it is super important that you practice the knowledge. And let me... Okay, it is not visible anymore. So what I'm a big fan of, American business schools. So American business schools have people, or in MBA programs, you have people who are already working in a company, and these people are coming to a class, learn things, go out, back, practice it, come back, ask questions. They really do not only get the knowledge and go out and say, here's my certification or my license, I know things. No, they really go out, apply their knowledge, come back and say, okay, knowledge applied. There's a part of the puzzle missing, because it's not a one-to-one. You don't go there, learn something, go out, and then you know it perfectly. No, you go out, learn something, go back, and then you try it and say, there's a part of the puzzle missing. And then you try and learn within the process. And that's super important. And that's the reason why I have this agile coaching class, where I teach my students 6 weeks in a row, 1 day a week. They sit down, they learn topics, they go out, apply it, come back, have questions, we answer them, and then we go to the next topic, and then learn the topic, go out, apply it, come back. So this process of getting knowledge, applying the knowledge, is super important to really get progress. So there were some questions. So the first one, can you please something about the relationship between agility and rapidity, changing global philosophical, economic, and political? Oh, Nicholas, I'm sorry on that. I can answer your questions about agility. And if you have the knowledge on the other topics that you have stated there, we can discuss them, and then we might figure out if there's a relationship. But on the reparability, I can't give you your input. I suppose agility is the current best method to navigate these challenges. That might be Uwe. Great that there is a discussion going on between you guys in this forum. I really like that. Appreciate that. But as I said, happy to connect here and happy to talk about that. Can you provide an example? Yeah, that would be actually very cool if we would have an example. So then it would be something that we could discuss. Then let me finalize the presentation here, 45 minutes. as we say, Punktlandung. So we are super on time. Here my contact data. Happy to connect with you. This is my address in Cologne. If you guys are around, David, maybe we will have lunch sooner or later again. Here's my email address, also the link to my website, Agile Business School, DE, and also to my LinkedIn page. Happy to connect with you guys afterwards. And then, Nicolas, happy to have an example here that you can share. I will stop presenting. Oh yeah, Chloe did. Thank you very much, Chloe. If you have an example where we can use the agility frameworks, because if we are talking about agility, the first thing that we should look on is the agile methods and the framework, which is noticed down in the in Scrum. So Scrum is the first thing I will look into, and Scrum says have certain events. I don't want to take too much time on that. Have certain events, do a proper planning for 2 weeks or 4 weeks. That might apply sometimes to companies' needs. Sometimes it doesn't. So if you're in a software development, the Scrum framework is super important, and always feel free to use. But if you're on the business side, so business management side, it's sometimes difficult because having this 2-week or 4-week approach is sometimes confusing business people. So business people love either to have from week to week or within a month or a quarter to say, okay, these are our weekly goals, these are our monthly or quarterly goals. And Scrum says precisely use 2 weeks or 4 weeks and don't make it longer. But we know that reality is something else. And if you say, I have found a way that's better, then happy to do so. What I love in Scrum is if you do the planning for your sprints, then you have also the daily meetings where you talk about impediments and problems that you have, and you have demos. And I really love demos. And from my perspective, it's the best thing to do demos. It doesn't need to be always a software demo. It can be also something where you say, dear colleague, you have created a presentation. Give me a demo, or let's flip through it and show me what you have done from weekly basis, 2 weekly basis, monthly basis, whatever, so that you can really communicate and be more precise what people are expecting. Look at the difficulty Starbucks is having responding to boycotts. Starbucks agility responses are unable to respond because the young people who are protesting are doing so rapidly changing political behavior. Thank you, Sevan. Yeah, I would like to understand why people are protesting. Maybe Starbucks is not anymore feeling the needs of the customer. So Starbucks was always a place that was super cool to go, chill there, have coffee, hang around. But maybe this need is not fulfilled anymore. So people are asking for other things. Excellent point. Yeah, absolutely. And customer centricity would be also the thing that I would go for. So I would really, and this is actually a good method, because if you have companies like Apple, Amazon, and Alphabet, not now, but 5-10 years in the past, you always had a founder, which was mostly the CEO, and the founder was really looking into daily operations. And the founder really had this connection to customers, to people in operations. So there are some stories that Jeff Bezos was packing books together with other people. And there was this connection, understanding what does the customer want, what is the problem of the person who's packing the parcels, etc. So, and they could really figure out a way that makes things more efficient and effective for the people and also for the customer. And a company like Starbucks, I guess the CEO is not really standing in a Starbucks coffee in Cologne, in New York, or in San Francisco to really understand what the customer wants or what the people that are protesting, what they want. So one way to do so is going there and taking your people there, the teams that are really working day by day with the customer, and do with them a design thinking session. So sit down together with them, say, guys, what is the problem that our customers are facing? Write really down the problems, put them together. Go there and say, okay, if we have figured out the problems, what are the solutions we can offer them? Write down as many solutions that you can offer them. As many problems, figure out as many solutions that you can do there. And then go there and say, okay, let's have somehow of sorting it out. What are the major problems of our customer? What are the best solutions we can deliver them? And what is the most, the fastest things that we can do? So an MVP approach would be here great. And what is super complex? So if a customer would say, I'm just saying, if a customer says, I want to have only organic coffee that is done, or if the farmers are also paid equally as the farmers in other countries, this is more complex because you need to go to the farmers, figure out how much to pay them. Organic plants are more difficult than others. But this is something that you say, okay, this is more a strategic project. But if you go there and say, yeah, they wish to have less plastic in the Starbucks coffees, perfect. Then go there and say, okay, how can we reduce plastic by 80%? How we can plant a tree by selling a coffee, and then really go there and try to figure out what your customer wants. Yeah, but again, if you have founder companies where the founder is in the operations and really is doing the strategic decisions, but is also involved in daily operations, then there is a big connection between what the customer wants and what strategic decisions the company does. But if you have such big companies where you say there is a CEO that sits in a headquarters, I don't know, Seattle, I think, or San Francisco is Starbucks located, and then oversees an empire of Starbuckses, then it might be something where you can go out and figure out, okay, with people in operations in New York, in San Francisco, in Los Angeles, San Diego, figure out what the problems of the customers is. If you see a pattern perfect, then figure out what is easy to achieve, what is more a strategic project, and then really go there and make sure that your customers are happy. That would be my 5 cents on that topic, but happy to connect afterwards with you guys. David, Chloe?
Thank you so much, Sevan. That was a great EPH Academy session. You could feel yourself what kind of discussions you triggered, touching upon philosophical paradigms. It's just great to see the engagement also of the people that are joining. Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone. I'd like to invite you to follow our Expert Powerhouse LinkedIn page to stay informed about upcoming EPH Academy sessions, so don't miss out on that one. Thank you so much, Sevan. Thank you, everybody, for joining, and we'll be in touch shortly.
Cheers. Have a good